People always say you'll never regret going on a run. So here's a list of runs that I deeply regret going on. The time I peed in a neighbor's lawn before dawn and then they turned on the front lights. The time I went running in a windstorm, rainstorm, snowstorm, flood watch, post-hauling, any day over 90 degrees, pretty much 80% of the year. The time I went running with my boyfriend and he broke up with me halfway through the run and it was an out and back. The time I pooped in the woods on poison oak. The time I pooped in the woods on poison ivy. All of the runs that I've listened to true crime podcasts on, and the entire time I'm like this. There was one time that I had beads the night before I ran and then I spent my entire run thinking that I was dying from internal bleeding. I regret all of those and then some. I'm actually regretting this run right now, so I think I'm gonna go home.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network, a fine network. It's Friday, February 10th, 2023. This is The Drop. I'm J.E. Skeets here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, that's Tass Mellis.
A run I regret. I had a pub sub the day before.
We've got the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Ayo!
Ayo! Over yonder making the magic happen. Like a madman this week, JD.
Hello.
There he is. And last but not least, our social media superstar, it is Jerome Chang.
One more time and before I head back to Toronto and then I see you next
You're
week.
leaving?
I'm leaving.
What? Nobody told me this.
The rent
I thought you lived in this garage.
The rent is crazy. JD's
The rent's crazier in this garage than Toronto?
JD realizes how much I enjoy this spot. He added some like lovely lighting in the background.
Some nice art.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, just don't open the garage. Okay, shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Make sure you hit that little like button. Make sure you subscribe to No Dunks. Share the show. Send in your questions and comments to nodunks@theathletic.com or hit us up on Twitter @NoDunksInc. Hey, follow us on TikTok and Instagram as well. Same handle @NoDunksInc. 1 week from today, gentlemen, we're live in Salt Lake City. Tickets still available. Use that link in the show notes to go get one if you're coming in for All-Star Weekend or if you live in the area. Few VIP meet and greet tickets remaining. You can hang out with us an hour before the show. Like we said, maybe we'll have some pub subs, take some photos.
Bring them with.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, I don't know if there's Publix in Salt Lake City, but we're bringing pub subs.
Anyway, we'll hang out an hour before the show and you'll get some preferred seating at the actual event. And they're in two separate bars, but they're like right next to each other. And sort of related to that Salt Lake City show, these just went live, guys. New Salt Lake City No Dunks jerseys. Yes, jazz-inspired jerseys. The old throwback mountains there. That purple really pops. 100 available. You know what? Scratch that. People are already buying these quickly. There's probably like 50 available at this point. So don't take long if you want to get a new No Dunks jersey. Go to nodunks.com. Obviously, making those in partnership with Breaking Tea.
I felt one in person. Felt amazing.
Yes. Well, you were saying it was heavy.
There we go.
Well,
in a
it's
good
real.
way.
It's authentic.
Yeah, it's got a nice quality to it. So go over to nodunks.com if you want to grab one of those. They're going to go quickly. Okay, before we get into the NBA trade deadline, winners and losers, we had a wedgie last night. There was basketball on, a few games. And this one, it was the combined powers of Jonathan Isaac and Michael Porter Jr., who gave us the wedgie. You know, Isaac attacking the rim, Michael Porter Jr. going for the block from behind. He fouls him, though, and we get the wedgie there. Nice close-up shot. I guess this is one of those ones, who do you give it to?
Michael Porter Jr.
But it's a foul?
Yeah, but he made it happen. I would say it's just...
But it only happened because Isaac was attacking the rim.
Yeah, well, it's so good because it's great passing, and also a guy not known for defense, Michael Porter Jr. getting back for a block / foul.
All right.
Did you have to call him for a foul?
Also, I'll have to see who wedgietracker.com gave that one to. I'll look it up right this second. The very rare Isaac and Porter getting credit on the website.
Wow. I can't wait to drink one of those in Salt Lake City. And Isaac Porter sounds delicious.
This guy, all he talks about is the food and drinks he's going to consume in Salt Lake City.
I am going to have a mole burrito in Salt Lake City.
Oh, yeah, we're going to, what is it called? Red Iguana or something like that?
You're right.
I think that's what it's called. People are recommending it very heavily to us, and I love a mole burrito.
Do we need to make a reservation? I mean, it's going to be bumping there in Salt Lake City.
You are looking up Wedgie Tracker. I will check that to make sure we can get in here.
All right. Okay, well, I think it's safe to say, guys, that the NBA trade deadline, it lived up to the frenzied hype.
Wow.
Yesterday, I mean, we had a lot of trades. According to Kevin Pelton, the machine, in the final 24 hours before the deadline, we had 16 trades involving 49 players and 25 teams. And I think this is right, 1,001 second-round picks. So let's break down the winners and losers of the NBA trade deadline. Task, get us started. Who's your big winner from not only yesterday, but, the entire, really, trade deadline week, if you want to call it that?
Let's go West. The Western Conference. Just bonkers. And the Phoenix Suns and Brooklyn Nets. I just love the trade for Kevin Durant because you can't go for it more than the Phoenix Suns did by going for Durant. But it also gutted their team. It cost them a lot. So they had to pay up and trade Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson and 4 first-round picks, not second-round picks, real first-round picks, and a pick swap, plus Jae Crowder for Kevin Durant. You just can't go more all-in than that. It looked like their championship window was closing. I mean, it was almost there. It was almost closed. It was right there. And then Matt Ishbia, new owner, just rammed it open. That thing is ajar. It's propped open now for at least a couple years.
Hey, luckily Kevin Durant's very thin.
He can squeeze it.
In, no
Sneak in
matter
there.
what.
Yeah, and that guy, just Kevin Durant, I think if you're an impartial basketball fan, like if you're a Warriors guy, some people, Warriors fans, some people hate him. I understand that, I guess, because he left. But if this guy is at the peak of his powers, he's one of the best players ever in the game. And I think even me, getting into these trades, I kind of just forget that he is having his best season here in year 16. That's not hyperbole. The dude is having his best year. 56 from the floor. That's an incredible percentage. 38 from the three-point line and 93 from the free throw line. 78% from the rim. Like, he is perfect. I'm not even going to get into his true shooting numbers, even though it's a sexy number. It's just him, Booker, CP3, how DeAndre Ayton's going to handle that is interesting. The whole wing rotation there is interesting. They went and got Darius Bazley as well, just because they need wing defenders. So a big athletic body, because they're old. Those guys that I mentioned, they're getting older, so they just got a little bit younger by trading Dario Saric to OKC for Darius Bazley. Maybe they're going to go on the buyout market. They also got TJ Warren. But the Nets are also winners because of how they handled the Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant scenario, in that they got a lot for those two players.
Right.
You can't really get more when you look at both those scenarios. So I just love this trade. It's like, it's a heavyweight fight, whatever you want to call it, whatever analogy you want to use. It just feels like two teams going in different directions, but both had to step up and put a lot on the line.
You don't see a guy who's like a top 5 player in the league traded in the middle of the season
That's
all
true.
that often. There's a ton of pressure now on the Suns to win and to, I would say, at least get back to the conference finals this season. It's a little bit of a big ask considering there's 4 guarantees on this team. It's their 4 stars right now. And then everything after that is kind of a question mark. You mentioned, Tess, that they gutted their team. It was Hawks Suns last night. I was out after playing pickup ball, had the game on. A Phoenix Sun went to the free throw line. People I was there with, who is that guy? Who do you think it was?
Isaiah Wainwright.
Ish Wainwright?
Oh, sorry. Dwayne Washington.
Nope. Those are good
guesses.
ones.
Yeah.
It was Jock Landale.
Oh,
Jock Landale at the line. But that is going to be the question for the Suns at this point. They don't got a lot of depth. They're surely going to be active on the buyout market once that comes around. And then injury concerns. Booker has missed time this season, but he's usually pretty reliable. Chris Paul, at this stage in his career, it's just a question of when, more so than if. And Kevin Durant has missed big chunks of time, though usually for big guys rolling into his legs. So as long as DeAndre Ayton ain't tumbling over, maybe he'll be fine. I hope Torrey Craig is ready for this because he is going to be taking a lot of wide open shots, because you'll do anything to have him be the guy that's shooting the ball rather than a dunk from Ayton or any of the mid-range dudes hitting for the Suns. They're at least in the upper echelon of the Western Conference. We got to see what it looks like and who's healthy come playoff time to know if they're one of the favorites. But they're more of a favorite than they were before they traded for Kevin Durant, because it was over for the Suns. They had the window closed They just hadn't locked it yet.
Yeah,
okay.
that's right. It was sort of perfect timing right here when you think about it, because you have Kyrie last week saying, I don't want to be here anymore, and he gets moved, and then that follows with KD probably saying the same thing, all right, move me. So there's that. There's the opportunity to get a player of that level. There's the new owner syndrome, obviously with Matt Ishbia coming in. Let's make a splashy move. I would even add to it that the Suns playing well recently, before last night and obviously before the trade, they had won 9 of their last 11 games. They had a pretty good sort of net rating over that stretch that had got them back up into the mix of things in the Western Conference. So I think that helped. I wonder if it's this move is even made if they go 2-9 instead of 9-11 over that stretch there, and you're sort of just way out of it. I think that helped the chances. But I loved here that we saw a lot of Western Conference teams, they made marginal updates. They slapped some singles, maybe a double down the line. But new Suns owner Matt Ishbia comes in here. He literally points to the bleachers like he's Babe Ruth and cranks a 500-foot bomb. Now, we're going to find out if it stayed fair or not. We'll see what happens here, if they can be healthy, but it could be a grand slam. And it was that thing where they looked at the landscape of the West and they said, it is for the taking. If we can get an elite player to pair with Booker and Chris Paul and Ayton and then hopefully have enough. Yeah. It's a risk still, but one a team that's never won a championship should take. There are a lot of differences, but if you think about the Raptors and the move they make for Kawhi Leonard, obviously an elite player, didn't take as much at that because of the whole injury with him and that, but they went for it because they're well, we might as well just go for it. And that's what the Suns are doing here, and we'll see if it pays off.
Sure. They made a finals, and it definitely looked like it was over in terms of just that iteration of the team. And that's why it was exciting for us here at the Western Conference. You said a lot of teams went for it. These guys right at the top. They're kind of starting with an obstacle in that Kevin Durant isn't healthy right now. So they're going to be fewer than 20 games for them to get it going before the postseason once he is healthy. So the Nuggets are the favorite right now. But I think if they go sign Isaiah Wainwright off the buyout market, they'll be all right. Isaiah Wainwright's not a player.
Yeah.
Ishmael Wainwright. Isaiah's, Ishmael's, get them all mixed up. Ish Smith is still on a roster. Why isn't he playing more? Anyway.
Wild thing with this new owner here, too. In the moves they make here, they increased Phoenix's luxury tax bill by about $16 million. Sarver took control of the team in 2004. The Suns paid the tax just 3 times in 17 seasons. That was sort of his thing. And the $50 million in taxes they're going to pay this year is nearly 4 times the total under Sarver combined. Again, shout out to Pelton for breaking down the numbers there. This puts it in perspective here. Sarver was a cheapskate. Now, you could also say they didn't have the team to really go into luxury tax and all that, but that was his thing. You've got this new owner in here, and he says, come on, call them back. Call the Nets back. We don't want John Collins. We want Kevin Durant. I don't care how many picks it's going to take. Our GM hates picks anyway in Jones. So, I can't wait. This is going to be a lot of fun here down the stretch and into the playoffs to see how this works for the Suns. Let's keep it going, though. Who you got for a winner?
Honestly, I got to give you a winner right now, Skates. That was an incredible baseball analogy you came through with there. It was multi-level.
You hit the cycle.
Yeah, that was incredible. It was 500-foot bomb. That's good enough. Is it fair or foul? We'll see. Is it a grand slam? Whoa! So big dub for Skeetsy. Thanks. To start off the podcast, hot right here. I'm loving it. I'm giving a win to the city of Los Angeles. I think both LA teams got better. Originally, I was going to start with the Lakers, but we always start with the Lakers. So let's talk about the Clippers.
Yep.
I think they improved. They sent out a bunch of guys you know and got back other guys you know. That's kind of what it went like, right? And the Clippers are still going to be a deep team with sort of reliable guys, or at least options. They brought in Eric Gordon. They got Bones Hyland. They got Mason Plumlee. All of those guys are going to play for their team. Gordon is basically a Luke Kennard replacement. He drives a little more. He's older, but his contract is a little bit shorter. Probably a wash, all things considered. Bones is more of an upside play than anything. It cost him 2 second-round picks, so definitely worth a roll of the dice. And Mason Plumlee is going to basically be what Isaiah Hartenstein was last season, a rim roller and a little bit of a passer as well. They just needed another backup big behind Zubac there. Also pretty impressive. I think that the Clippers were able to keep Terrence Mann in all of these deals.
Yep.
So maybe just a little bit of shuffling of the names that are there, but I think they got a little bit better. and addressed some areas of concern. As for the Lakers, they've got a team now, I think is the most important thing. Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt, Mo Bamba. That's a rotation of guys who would win 15 games in an NBA season. But as John Hollinger said, the Lakers probably had the worst 3 through 15 in the league, and they no longer have the worst 3 through 15 in the league. They're younger, a little bit more athletic. They've got more shooting. They got a couple of defenders. They were able to hang on to that pick in 2029, so didn't completely punt on the future. Even the 2027 pick is 1 through 4 protected. They've got more flexibility going forward with their contracts. I don't think they're a championship contender at all, but they're a playoff contender. I think this will make LeBron happy. Hopefully he plays. Hopefully Anthony Davis is good as well, because the Lakers have to finish 16-10 to finish 500, which would put them at 9th or 10th in the Western Conference. So they're going to have to get healthy. They're going to have to get on the court, and they're going to have to get on the same page immediately just to make it to the playoffs. But at least now you're going to probably make the playoffs rather than having LeBron request a trade in the summer.
Right.
Yeah, the play-in tournament should be the absolute bare minimum that they're going for. And because, Utah's fallen off the table here, Portland to some degree, they should make it in. But I think that's the ceiling. And that's the thing. Los Angeles the Lakers have definitely got better. They definitely have got better. All those guys
They have
you
more
mentioned.
of a team. This is what they should have done, obviously, heading into this season.
Yeah, and they may be a little too late
Yeah.
At this point here, because they have to go 16-10 because AD's not really carrying the team, because LeBron sits out the game after he breaks the record. He's not going to get fresher as the year goes on. He's in and out of the lineup a bit. So the chemistry, I think, is a bit of a worry. Like, the chemistry was pretty decent, even if these reports about Russell Westbrook. Honestly, I think it was fine. They were trying hard. They were working hard. Now they're entering the D'Angelo Russell phase. And I'll get to the chemistry that he had with his Minnesota Timberwolves teammates where that was lacking. So, yes, the post-LeBron future looks a little bit better. But this season, it's a first-round exit to me at the very best if they get in through the play-in tournament. So, yeah, we can be excited about it for sure. But the West just is so good, and I think the Clippers are an example. Like, they started ahead of the Lakers going into the trade deadline. They got better. A lot of the teams got better.
I can't gloss over the fact that you said or thought that the chemistry with Russell Westbrook was good with the Lakers, because by all reports, that's a bold-faced lie that they were probably selling to us. These are 3 lines from just the Athletic article yesterday. The Lakers believe there is an addition-by-subtraction element with Westbrook. 2 sources described the situation as toxic. Shout out to Britney Spears. And Lakers coaches had grown frustrated with Westbrook's recent behavior. On top of that Athletic article, we had Dave McMenamin. Even-keeled Dave, they call him. Basically saying, no one's called him that. Basically saying that his sources said Westbrook was a vampire, basically sucking the life out of that team. The joy from that squad. That's a lot. Now, is he just being made to be the scapegoat?
Of course.
Totally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly, like every time.
Yep.
They're just a bad team.
Both can be true. Westbrook can be a real pain in the ass, or maybe not fun to be around, and you can also be making him the scapegoat.
Yeah, well, he wasn't the problem. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
Yes. As soon as the guy's traded, he's the worst. He went to the bench. He played. He's an MVP, went to the bench, did his part. He wasn't great at it, even though people want to give him the 6-man. I mean, he's going from 6-man to, air quotes, vampire. I think that's just a little extreme. You're throwing him under the bus.
You say and talk more about the locker room vibes and chemistry more than anyone I know in the podcast game. So he can go out and deliver. He can deliver solid numbers, lean into the role off the bench. He was the favorite to win 6-man of the year according to Vegas. But he can do all that. But if he is like just a Debbie Downer, and people, especially LeBron, let's be honest here, hate being around him, and the coaching staff and all that, like, those can both be true too. And that can have an effect on your team.
They're 25 and 30 with Russell Westbrook. I can sit here and say they weren't going to be better, without him.
Well, they better prove that he was the problem here and win some games.
Well, what they did,
they didn't start last night.
It wasn't Russell's fault. What they did was Russell, Beasley, Vanderbilt, Bamba, Rui, Davon Reed, out. Westbrook, Beverly, Bryant, and other guys who just weren't playing. So they got better. I mean, of course, they should be better. Will they be better? Who knows? To some degree, they got rotation players, but the chemistry I don't think is going to be. I mean, it's going to be a question. I don't think it's going to be worse, to be in all honesty, but it's just dirty.
Yeah, they piled on.
Shout out to Christina Aguilera.
A couple R's in there.
Yeah, extra R's.
This guy here.
Yeah.
In the podcast game, no one else respects Christina Aguilera more than I do.
I believe that.
She had a voice in the 90s.
You did.
Just because she didn't dance on an airplane in a stewardess outfit, she was not respected the same way.
I mean, if you watch the Dirty video, I don't know that you really could throw in just she did not do her thing.
Hold on.
I totally forget that video.
We're now getting into a wild Christina.
Give me the oral history of that video. I forget that.
I forget. No, just
the boxing ring.
Yeah, it's the boxing ring.
Grimy.
She gets dirty.
She gets dirty. Yeah.
Gets dirty.
Yeah,
She's very dirty.
Okay.
No, I'm just more curious, as the top podcaster for Christina Aguilera fandom, what's her best song?
Great question. Well, can you give me a few of them, and then I'll tell you what they are.
Okay, so you got Dirty.
I mean, just give me the Moulin Rouge.
Yeah,
you mean Mulan? Oh yeah, Mulan. Yeah, I thought you meant Mulan also, because she has Reflection.
Oh, nah.
No,
You're going way
Deep
too
Valley.
close.
I know I might have just been one up to the podcast game.
What else you got?
Dirty.
There's Dirty.
Genie in a Bottle.
Genie in a Bottle. That's a classic. What a Girl Wants.
Okay,
Dirty's better than all of these songs.
Okay,
What a Girl Wants.
It's a pretty good song.
You named 3 songs.
It's a bop.
Obviously, those are all better than every Britney song.
Oh, Jesus. You're talking out of your
She's
ass.
got range.
Now you're talking out of your ass.
She's a better singer.
Of course she's a better singer.
It's better singer, but not necessarily better songs.
Well,
okay.
All credit to Britney for writing those songs. Anyway.
This is a basketball podcast.
That's another podcast. Anyways, let's bury Russell Westbrook. Let's just bury the guy. He went to the bench. He played his ass off. He played his minutes. He didn't leave the court in a timely manner the other day. He had an altercation with Darvin Ham. Kill him. I just think it's a little unfortunate.
I was playing a little devil's advocate there because I agree with you. That was really weird yesterday.
That was weird.
They went really all in on saying it was all him. It was all him. Nobody's happy because of him. We suck because of him. But by the way, you also wanted him and brought him in. So I guess you learned your lesson. I mean, I'm talking LeBron here. He was an advocate for the Westbrook trade. Obviously, the front office does it in the end, so they thought they could save him.
It was weird. I don't think.
Who are the good vibes on the team?
Who?
Yeah, who's the player that's actually bringing the good vibes? If we're just going to talk about
Austin Reeves.
Yeah.
There you go.
Everybody loves that guy.
Vibe.
But in terms
vibe.
of minutes played and why they're 5 games under 500, Anthony Davis has missed a ton of time. Other guys, they signed off the scrap heap. Third in minutes played is Dennis Schroeder. Austin Reeves barely had a job. Lonnie Walker was given to them by the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, he was let go by the Spurs. That's their team.
Yeah.
So they're 5 games under 500 in the
Because
West.
they gutted their team in trading for Westbrook.
Yeah.
They gave away a lot of players, at least, that you would have been playing otherwise. So it's their own fault.
And he played 52 games this year. He played a lot. I mean, he was out there giving it his all. Anyway, Clippers, just quick notes. If they go get Russell Westbrook, because that is interesting. Now, I would say that would be a mistake. Because
why?
Because they just
Bad vibes.
He totally doesn't want to. Guy's an asshole. He sucks. No one wants him around.
I heard he's a vampire. Can't bring a vampire into your locker room. Ridiculous.
Best vampire.
I got Nosferatu. If we're talking best vamps. Dracula's overrated. Everyone knows it.
Nice. I agree. Anyway, they gutted their bench, so they got a new bench. Eric Gordon's there, who's going to be handling the ball. Bones is going to shoot a lot. You're going to bring Westbrook just to throw in another guy who needs to handle the ball. You're just going to be taking away from those 2 guys, Eric Gordon and Bones. It doesn't really make sense. I hope they don't. It just doesn't make sense.
Let's get to another winner here. That was a fun tangent, though. I'm going to give Jae Crowder a winner of the trade deadline, in addition to the Bucks. But Jae Crowder, man, this guy sits out the entire season because he lost his starting spot to Cam Johnson. eventually gets shipped to Brooklyn, a part of the KD trade, with Cam Johnson is my favorite part of all that, but then is sent a few hours later to the Milwaukee Bucks, and he is pumped. That's a Marquette guy back in the Milwaukee area, tweeting out, "Cut off my finger to save my hand, 99 back again." He is obviously ecstatic of where he landed. He wants to try and win a championship, so he's here in Milwaukee. We already talked about that. The Bucks getting Crowder here compares to the Bucks acquiring PJ Tucker in 21. You did so on one of the podcasts yesterday. A lot of people are making that comparison. It makes some sense. I would also like to add that there's possibly some Al Horford vibes to this, where he took off 3/4 of a season in OKC before being dealt to the Celtics, and then was very instrumental in helping them get to the finals here, and obviously still with Boston, and they'll try and do it again. Al Horford is a better player than Jae Crowder, but maybe that time off as a guy getting up there in age helps him out here. So I like this move, and Jae Crowder, I don't see how he's not a winner, because this guy's in Milwaukee now. They've won 9 straight, which is going completely under the radar because what's been going on here, right, with the trade deadline and these big blockbuster deals. The East gets weaker. They don't have to worry about having to beat a KD team. So I go Milwaukee here. They must be pretty ecstatic.
The difference is with Al Horford is that he took his rest at the end of a season and played the entire season for the Celtics before going to the playoffs. So hopefully Jae Crowder's feeling good after chilling.
Yeah.
And he's a young-ish guy. It's not like he's old. 32, I do think. So he should be able to step in and be the PJ Tucker that they need, I imagine. And now they have options.
And they didn't give up a lot to get him here either, is important to note. When you're talking Tucker, correct me if I'm wrong, when you're talking Tucker and of course Horford, first-round picks are included in those deals, and it didn't take that to get Jae Crowder. It just took a bunch of second-round picks.
Yeah,
I think that is the right value.
Yeah,
I got Crowder behind both those guys, but they needed their PJ Tucker replacement. He's just a good medium-sized guy, which the Bucks kind of were lacking. He's going to be bigger than Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton, a little bit quicker than Bobby Portis. So like you're saying, Tass, gives him a little extra versatility, and a guy who obviously wanted to be in Milwaukee. He doesn't necessarily help their offense, I don't think, unless he's going to hit open threes.
He's streaky.
He's a streaky guy.
Yeah.
They just need him to be a league average 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
And that keeps him on the court.
Also, he's owed $10 million for this season. Obviously, it's going to be less now, but he's an unrestricted free agent this summer. But the Bucks, having acquired him in a trade, they maintain his bird rights, so that could help them in an effort to re-sign him in free agency or agree to some sort of extension beforehand. So I'll go Milwaukee.
I guess the question is he okay with 20 minutes a game? Because he does want a prominent role when he was told he was going to the bench with the Phoenix Suns.
That's a good point. Thought he was better than Cam still.
He said, I ain't playing.
Yeah.
So I guess he'll get a decent role, but yeah, there's guys who are going to take minutes from him. Trey mentioned Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton, Ingles. There's a bunch of guys that can take minutes from him.
He's going to get an opportunity.
Hell yeah, he will.
Yeah.
He will.
And again, the Celtics, they got Mike Muscala. That was fine yesterday. 76ers, they did a little swap there. Thibault for McDaniels. Might be fine. That was a luxury tax move. Cavs didn't do anything. So these are the teams that are and then talked about the Nets, of course, obviously blowing it up. Nobody was made a blockbuster move that you're Milwaukee going, oh no, in the East, we blew this one. We didn't maintain our pace with them for what they did, but that didn't happen. So I think they're a winner. Let's keep it going though.
You are beautiful in every single way. You didn't say beautiful.
I know. Yeah. I saw the stream team really going in on us on the various Christina Aguilera songs that we missed out on.
A lot of ballads.
Yeah, big. I mean, when you have that voice.
4 octaves.
It was, yeah. 4 octaves
nickname?
in the singing game is saying someone's can score at all 3 levels.
3-level score.
Or 4 levels, maybe.
Yeah,
Steph Curry
It's a
can score at all 4 levels from half
vertical
court.
is what it is.
5-tool player.
Let's do another round, man. This is the drop, the final podcast of the week. We've done a million of them. Let's go another round of winners. Who you got?
Well, a couple additions by subtraction for me, and it ain't Russell Westbrook. Not doing that. The Wolves got rid of D'Angelo Russell for Mike Conley, essentially, in a 3-team deal with the Lakers. D'Angelo Russell didn't like playing with Rudy Gobert, and it was clear to his teammates and to opposing teams. He would complain about him on the court, according to John Krasinski of The Athletic. He would go into the locker room and complain about it. And the reporters would come in, as John Krasinski reports, a very respected reporter, even-keeled John, they call him. And he would continue to complain about Gobert. He didn't know how to get the most out of Rudy Gobert. In comes Mike Conley, and I think that's going to be a pretty good match. Does Mike Conley have D'Angelo Russell's ceiling scoring ability? Nah, but that's okay. It's going to be more about winning, and the friendships that Karl Anthony Towns had with D'Angelo Russell, ownership says, I don't care. We don't care. We got to win now. And Mike Conley's going to deal with Rudy Gobert better. There's no doubt about that. And yeah, there's just going to be just more shots to go around for others. And the D'Angelo Russell experience, although he has had good numbers, they're better when he goes to the bench. There's more Anthony Edwards. I don't know. I'm not sure what you guys think, but I think it's overall, it's just going to be a better balance, better vibes most likely, and a better fit.
That's obviously what they're hoping for. Yeah.
I think it's probably like a lateral move. Like player-wise, going from Russell to Conley, there are strengths for both, weaknesses for both. Conley does have the chemistry with Gobert, which is huge, and shout out to John Hollinger for the reminder, chemistry with Kyle Anderson from way back in the Memphis days.
Jeez.
Kyle Anderson has great chemistry with Gobert, so maybe the three of them will just throw alley-oops after alley-oops to that guy, which would keep him happy and energized on the defensive end.
Yeah.
There's now a rumored reunion with Patrick Beverley, just running back the play-in team, celebrating on the table, a little bit more flexibility going forward, and I think that Mike Conley is likely a better influence for Anthony Edwards than D'Angelo Russell would be. So
Right.
I'm fine with it. Like this is the move that I've come around the most on and have liked more than when it first happened.
And it's definitely worrisome that Conley is old. I mean, he misses time. So that part should be a worry for the Minnesota front office. But I just think the pecking order is a little more clear now with D'Angelo Russell gone. Karl Anthony Towns has to come in and shoot. Anthony Edwards is the number one guy right now. And then it's Gobert, Jaden McDaniels, and Conley to pick up scraps along with Kyle Anderson and the bench guys. So it just makes a little bit more sense where Russell thought he was a bit more of a star and I say that because he talked extension with the front office. They weren't anywhere close to a number, so it makes sense for them to move on.
Yeah.
I'll get to another addition by subtraction. We're going to Denver. Bones Hyland. Trey mentioned him. Went to the Clippers for only 2 second-round picks. This is a second-year guy, and they gave him a bigger role this year in year 2 because they thought he could handle it. But apparently, he rubbed people the wrong way. And according to Denver Post's Mike Singer, I mean, it sort of makes sense here. He left the bench a few minutes into the fourth quarter of a game on January 22nd, a while back. Because he was frustrated with his role. He just didn't handle it well. He said, I'm gone, I'm leaving. Yeah. And then he flew separate from the team to their next road game. He flew commercial. And everybody else, the guy decided to fly commercial when he had the option of flying charter. And then he didn't show up for a shoot around, and then he was a DNP, didn't play the next game.
Yeah.
So there is a butting of heads there. He thought he deserved more. So they're just an old school organization. And they said, we want to win, and we can't have that on our team right now. So they gave him away for 2 second-round picks, which is a little surprising. We mentioned threw in the Jalen McDaniels move, somewhat similar first-round pick. But this guy's young. This is year 2. It's not even that similar because Jalen McDaniels is year 4 going from Charlotte to Philly. It's just not a very good return. But they also weren't happy with his shot selection, and they leave themselves a little thin in the guard spot on the bench. But it's like Jokic's going to play backup point guard, really. I mean, so it doesn't matter all that much. And
that's what I always wonder about this. Like, did Jokic, was it the kiss of death? Was he did they go to him and say, what do you think about this? The way he's acting, the shot selection, the pouting a little bit. He's young, maybe a little immature, thinks he's a bigger deal than he is. How do you feel about it, Jokic? And I just see him taking off his page boy cap and putting it in his lap while he strokes instead of like an evil cat, like a horse, giant horse on his lap. Get rid of him.
Wait, I thought his hat was in his lap?
His hat was on his head. His page boy cap was on his head.
Okay.
He put it on his one knee while the horse is on his other lap.
Horse on the other lap. Of course. A horse, of course.
Yeah, and he's like, because you would think they'd probably go to him. To me,
Maybe.
Jokic is he is sort of morphing here into a Duncan-like guy, right? Doesn't say a lot, Obviously an incredible player, and you'd be silly not to run your organization around such a player, and he probably has a lot of say in the matter. And sometimes probably maybe doesn't even want to have a say in the matter. But yeah, an addition by subtraction. We'll see here. Mike Malone was over him.
Yeah, exactly.
At the very least.
And the Nuggets have championship aspirations this season, so they're saying, sorry, man, no distractions. They gave them away. They did 2 second-round picks. Unless they draft 2 Nikola Jokic's, it's going to look like they lost the trade.
Sure.
But if it's good for the vibes, then I suppose it's okay. Plus, they can probably recover with like a Reggie Jackson in the buyout market or something for their backup point guard.
Will we see any articles coming out next couple days? Bones Hyland was a vampire. Bones Hyland was a monster.
Man?
Yeah.
Oh, mummy.
Probably not. Probably not. All right, Trey, who you got for a winner?
We're getting near the MPC era of trades because I considered a lot of minor moves for my second winner. I like Josh Hart to the Knicks. Talk about great vibes. That was an incredible seeing Jalen Brunson react to that. Josh Hart is obviously very excited as well. I also think that the Knicks are kind of the only team in the middle in the Eastern Conference who actually improved. Which is you're saying something. I like Gary Payton too, going back to the Warriors. They know he fits. They need vets. They need defense. Saved a little money. Nice.
Yep.
And then Luke Kennard went to the Grizzlies. He addresses a need.
Yep.
Just shoot some threes.
Hell
and
yeah.
Don't get lit completely on
Especially
fire
in that half-court offense, which bogs down.
They need shooting. They need shooting. They need him to be bench Bane, basically. Just shoot it every time. Hopefully hit 40%. But ultimately, I got to go with Kyrie to the Mavs. Or shall I say Kyrie to the Mavs? It's a big question mark. He's the best player other than Kevin Durant, who got traded. This is definitely the biggest swing other than Kevin Durant. It looked like Kyrie fit alongside the Dallas Mavericks perfectly in his first game, passing the ball, unlocking Theo Pinson from their days back in Brooklyn together, just shooting the ball really well. They're going to be a great offensive team. They increased their title odds this season, no doubt. They also increased the chance that their team blows up in the summer. No doubt about it. It's 50-50 how well things are going to go. But the window is literally these next few months. I do think Kyrie will be playing for a contract, and he can't force his way out of this team until the summer. It could be a Tyson Chandler, where they bring him in, instant success, go to a title. It could be a Rondo, where it's a complete disaster, and they can't wait to get rid of him. Yeah. So we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah. One game played, good so far.
Yes.
He looked amazing the other night, on Wednesday night there. Not playing with Luka, but he looked like he belonged, and they had some bounce to them, and he obviously was locked in, had a good game in the win. But it's Kyrie. Things change quickly.
Exactly right.
I love that one. Mavericks question mark as the winner of the weekend?
Maybe?
Final one here. Look, there are lots of different types of NBA fans. You got those that actually like to watch basketball, which is a dying breed, if we're being honest. Like, actually watch the games, talk a little X's and O's. You got fans that live and die for the trade deadline. I mean, people love to play GM. And we saw with the numbers we put up over the last couple of days, people love talking trades. That's just the way it is. That's fine. You got the cap nerds out there that are trying to learn the ins and outs of the CBA, and those people are smarter than I will ever be. You got your real housewives people, I call them. Those that love the NBA gossip. That guy's a vampire. Oh, people love it. Let's go to town. Get the Photoshop going. We're talking about the fashion.
A player was called a vampire.
I know.
That's amazing, actually.
And then you have the ultimate sicko level of fandom. I call them the buyout boys. People get pumped about buyout guys that almost never help a team do anything. But let's get excited because the potential buyout market, it's got some names.
You know these guys.
There are a lot of names. Let's go through some. Some have been mentioned already, but John Wall, he's not playing for Houston. Russell Westbrook, he ain't playing for Utah. And there are a lot of other ones. Derrick Rose, possibility. Alec Burks, Patrick Beverley for sure. Terrence Ross, Nerlens Noel, Rudy Gay, Will Barton, Danny Green, Serge Ibaka, George Hill, Reggie Jackson. Sounds like he's not going to play for the Hornets. Dwayne Dedmon. There's a lot. And will 1, 2 maybe of those guys latch onto a team and help them in a playoff game or a playoff series? Maybe. But man,
maybe.
That's the buyout boys is an extra level of sickoness.
You gotta be a super optimist to be a buyout boy, because you gotta think that this guy who is clearly at the end of his career, who was traded away from a team because they didn't want him, and another team said, "Nah, we're good." they're making an impact in the playoffs. But I'll talk myself into every single one of these guys.
There's some
no
names,
doubt about it. You
man.
didn't even mention my favorite.
Oh, who did I miss?
Kevin Love.
Oh, see, I thought I saw reports that wasn't happening, but yeah.
He's gonna say, "I want a ring. I'll go to LA." He's gonna be
to who? The Clippers?
Lakers.
He's got a better chance at the Cavs of winning a ring than he does the Lakers.
Cavs ain't going anywhere this season.
All right. Yep. Okay. Well, I thought I saw a report that I had him on the list. You'll be happy to know, but I took it off because I saw that the Cavs were not likely to reach a buyout
They
agreement.
better not release him.
They don't even play.
He will. Like, why wouldn't he? They need. I think they won't.
Start
They
him
won't
over
let him
Mobley?
do- No. He's
Allen.
He's a bencher. I mean, where's he going to start?
Yeah.
Where you want to start with the Lakers?
I'm just
Clippers?
telling you, man. He's out of the rotation.
Of all those other names, though, do you
Well-
have one that you're like, let me be a buyout boy here for a second. Let me talk myself into.
Nah, I don't want to see a top 5 buyouts coming in the short department.
No?
But no, let me jump.
People love that stuff. man.
I don't know. We're going deep. I will say, if Russell Westbrook goes back to the Clippers, who just got rid of John Wall, who's a guy that was traded for Russell Westbrook. I mean, that's some full circle weird stuff.
Yeah.
I could see him going to the Miami Heat. I would see Westbrook on the Heat, where the bench is lacking. Lowry does not look like old Lowry. I could see that happening.
okay.
I could see Westbrook going there. I would guess that.
All right. So we'll have lots of activity over the next little bit here with the buyout boys. Let's take our first break. When we come back, losers of the NBA trade deadline. Don't go anywhere.
Last week, I saw date night show up on my family calendar.
Okay.
Intriguing. What's going on with this date night, I asked. My wife replied, "Ooh, you like that, boy? You're gonna need to get fancy." Turns out we got tickets for jazz night at the High Museum. So yeah, I need to get
Nice.
fancy. Indochino fancy. With their huge variety of customizable details and fabrics, Indochino can help you create anything from made-to-measure blazers and suits to a custom portrait-worthy tuxedo, all with no tailor necessary. Should I show up in a tuxedo?
Yeah.
Jazz night?
Yeah, you fancy
Show up
boy.
to our live show in a tuxedo.
It's actually pretty cool. Pretty cool look. Indochino, they give you everything you need to create a custom suit that's right for you. Shop online by setting up your measurement profile and choosing the fabric and customizations you want. If you prefer an in-person experience, you can book an appointment at an Indochino showroom and work with an expert style guide to take your measurements and walk you through your customization options. Then just sit back while your suit is made for you and delivered straight to your door. Suits start at just $499 and premium fitted shirts start at $89. You can fine-tune every detail. Lapels, linings, monograms, and more. If you've got your own jazz night, you can start planning your custom look with Indochino. Go to Indochino.com and use code NODUNKS to get 10% off any purchase of $399 or more. That's INDOCHINO.com, promo code NODUNKS.
Sincere thanks to everybody who watched or listened to a number of our podcasts over the last couple days. Really, really appreciate it. Hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Leave your boys a 5-star rating and review wherever you download and listen to your pods. Help us out in the rankings. Okay, we've done the winners of the trade deadline. Let's do the losers. Who gets your big L from this past week?
Well, like a real schmuck, I'm going to complain about the Raptors here for a little bit. There we go. Raptors had Masai Ujiri go to the podium yesterday, and he explained that they were a sub-500 team going into the trade deadline. Looked like they were sellers. All the chatter about them being sellers, and they added a player. I mean, this is a bad team, and they acted in the market like they were a good team. Like they were going for it. They traded a top six pick for Jakob Poeltl. That might look bad. But Masai also said, I wanted to give these guys a shot with a real center back there to see how it works. And we've played a little bit individualistic, he said.
He did say that. He said that a couple times.
Selfish. I'm saying selfish, but I'm adding on to it. They were looking out for themselves, which is entirely true. They haven't gelled well. So it's unfortunate. We watched, like, as Raptor fans, it's a mid-team that's not even a mid-team right now, but they acted like it when they went and talked to other teams. And they likely have free agents here now that they didn't deal, and Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent, that they may get nothing for because they didn't deal. So that's the worrisome
and Pirtle
part.
now too.
And they're going to have to pay
bird rights,
Pirtle.
but, yeah.
It sure feels like they're going to pay him. Apparently, the Bucks were a team that wanted Fred VanVleet, according to Shams Charania. They were looking, but maybe Masai sat there and overvalued his players to some degree and said, we want a lot for these dudes. That wasn't happening. So now we still trust in Masai. So I don't want to complain too much in the offseason. I think they can and will do something. But right now, they just asked a lot, and this mid team just stays mid, even though they're playing in a good stretch. So it's like I can't even be that mad. I can't be that frustrated. I can't have a good, complaining segment. It's just because Masai always plays it slow, and then he always does the right thing. But I just don't see signing Fred and signing Gary Trent and signing Jakob as the right thing. So that's the question we have going into the offseason. What the hell are they going to do? Because this team just ain't it right now.
That's his thing, though. He did say that a couple times. Patience. That's what our organization is all about. When everybody else panics, we just ride it out and play cool and keep looking at our BlackBerry. But yeah, they did give up a top 6 protected 24 first-round pick in a couple seconds there for Pirtle. They wanted a center. They got a center. See if it helps their chances to get into really all they're looking at this point with them being so far back is a play-in or maybe to get out of it if they can put together a hell of a run here. But they have huge, huge decisions once you get into the off-season with all of these expiring deals.
Like, Jakob isn't going to make them that much better. The rest of the team has to play better. Right now, they're the 9th worst team in the league. If they go through next year and that pick conveys to the Spurs, they get a 9 pick. That's what Jakob was. You can get half, in terms of rookie salary, pay half what Jakob's going to earn for that same salary. So it doesn't really make sense if they're not going to be good. Is it going to come from within? Is it going to come from Scotty? That's always the question.
It's also like, did they miss the leverage point here at the deadline? They obviously were taking calls for OG, VanVleet, I assume Gary Trent Jr. as well. They wanted more. No one would give it to them. And they said, okay, well, we'll just readdress this in the summer. We'll play it out. We'll actually surprise everyone, go get a center, which we do need to help us defensively, and see where that takes us, and then we can maybe sign and trade these guys in the summer. That could be an issue with the 3 of them. Hollinger has a great breakdown of why the money could be complicated. They could very likely lose one of these guys completely for nothing. Could happen. But, it was disappointing. I think we were all ready to think that OG or VanVleet was being moved. And then they still are here.
Yeah. It's surprising that the Raptors were buyers yesterday, for sure. They need a center. They're going to need a center next year, but they're paying a lot for 3 picks and the contract, and then you got to sign Fred and Gary as well, or just let them walk. And it's just not what you were expecting from the Raptors this entire season, right? Like, they had expectations coming into this year, fall short of them here. Trade deadline comes, you're thinking, all right, fine, you fell short of expectations. You're going to be sellers. Not this time. We shall see.
Yeah. It just seemed like it's a seller's market. It was ripe to sell a really, really talented player because there's so many buyers out there, so many teams going for it. You see teams like the Charlotte Hornets that aren't as, capable and swift as my man Masai make deals to sell off parts. So when it comes to the offseason, if Fred leaves for nothing, that's the biggest one. They're going to re-sign Yak. They just traded a first for him and 2 seconds, as you said, Trey.
Yeah.
It did end up being 3 picks. Fred is the question mark. Now, what happened with Kyle Lowry way back when? They were able to sign and trade him to the Miami Heat and got a couple parts back. So they've shown that they could do that before. And because it's not a great free agent crop, some team will miss out. Some team will be looking for a point guard in the offseason. So you could say, we'll give you Fred. We'll sign and trade just because Fred may do a favor to the Raps, but he could also leave for nothing.
You're generally going to get less in a sign and trade than you would at a trade deadline, usually. Yeah. And again, just to break this down, Hollinger had a great breakdown. Any commitment to Pirtle, like you guys were talking about, which they likely will do, basically blots out any hope of using cap space to replace Fred VanVleet or Gary Trent Jr. should they leave after opting out of their contracts in free agency, because it leaves Toronto in this dreaded bird rights trap with 3 players, Pirtle, GTG, and FEV, which could make for a very expensive summer. And then you get into the whole thing of like, even the idea of like, if you do it, if you pull it off, you bring all these guys back and you make the numbers work, it's like, is it a good team?
Well,
it hasn't been.
The record
it has
says,
been, but we haven't had Pirtle, so yeah.
Yeah, the record says no. Then I think what it probably came down to was they overvalued Fred VanVleet's market. Mm-hmm. We all know that the price was high for OG Anunoby, but it sure seems like the price was also high for Fred. And a team like the Clippers reportedly weren't willing to give up Terrence Mann, who is not close to the level of Fred VanVleet, obviously a lot younger, but it just seems like the value, the perception was a lot higher in the front office than it was outside the front office.
Here's the whole other part of this, where the Raptors are as an organization and the talent they do have on the team. Obviously, I'm talking about Siakam as an all-NBA, all-star type guy. It's like, it would have been so easy if not only they're bad record-wise, but like rip it down, blow it up entirely. Oh, now you're trading OG for as many picks as you get. Now you're trading Fred VanVleet for a young, promising player and a pick, something like that. And you can really lean into draft capital, draft capital, draft capital. But the Raptors, they don't want to be like a team that's like start over and like 3-4 years out. And it's like, okay, Scotty, here's the keys to the car. Let's go. Like, and then like that would have to include trading Siakam, but they don't. They want to thread the needle here of like, it'd be nice to get some of that, but we also want players that we can still win games with Barnes, with Siakam, and of course now Pirtle. So that's like the tough part and part of the decision making that they're trying to, like, I think, thread, which is never easy. I think the Blazers are doing something similar too, with like, you have Lillard, he wants to be there, and like you leaned into the tank last year, but it's like they're just like, you're caught in between two things here, like that little mediocrity, which is sort of sucks at times for some fan bases.
Yeah. Sure does.
Yeah.
We'll get to the Bulls. Same thing. Yeah, it's like
at least your team made a trade.
Yeah, they traded up into more of a mid team. I mean, it's a mid team that's not even a mid team because they're sub 500. That's the worrisome part, is that they do bring guys back, and I guess we can just project and just guess that the Clippers weren't willing to give up Terrence Mann in a first round pick for a guy who was an all-star last year in Fred VanVleet.
Yeah.
What were the Bucks willing to offer? You know, it was either a first round pick, like from the Clippers or the Bucks, and no other players. It feels like it was just one or the other. I think the perception was higher from the Raptors' perspective, and that happened all throughout the league, really. Like other than trading for Durant and Kyrie, there just wasn't a lot traded. It was all a bunch of second round picks, and that's not what Masai was looking for.
Trey, who's your big loser of the weekend? Or the deadline, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, save it for the weekend. We'll see who it is. Yeah, I mean, the Raptors are the 9th worst team in the league. The Bulls are the 10th worst team in the league. And just like the Raptors, I thought, ooh, this could be blow-up time. Nope. Best Bulls take I got was from Tommy Poro. He said, damn, Bulls didn't do anything good all day yesterday. Once again, no trades. Sat out last trade deadline. Basically sat out the summer. They brought in Dragic and Drummond, who have both been fine at times and done nothing at times. Sat out this deadline. Choices were blow it up or add something like a point guard or shooting or rim protection. They said, nah, we're good. Could have shot Vooch while negotiating his extension. Maybe a team that's contending for a title with like a guy who can sometimes shoot a 3, grab some boards, and then you would be able to extend him as well. They could have started a bidding war for Caruso. A team like the Warriors would have loved Caruso. The Lakers would have loved Caruso. There are others out there who would part with something for him, a young player that is interesting. They could have even traded Andre Drummond, first and second round picks. They were flying around like crazy yesterday. They could have done anything. Instead, they chose continuity and evaluation. The Bulls, of course, went 19-23, lost in 5 games in the playoffs last season after Lonzo Ball went out. They're 26-29 right now. So I'm not sure what the evaluation needing to be done here is. I think more accurately, they chose to stay underneath the luxury tax. Arturas Karnisovas even said that after the Durant and Kyrie trades, the East has gotten worse. So there's opportunity. Bulls went out and laid an egg against the Nets. Their guys weren't even being dudes.
No.
Cam Thomas didn't have a 40-point game last night. They just got smoked.
Yeah.
They made 5 threes last night, and that was the story of the game. That has been the story of the Bulls since basically February 1st, 2022. They don't got enough shooting. Just get a shooter. Just get a shooter. That's it. Like Luke Kennard went to the Grizzlies for what? Basically James Wiseman? Like that's how he kind of ended up there. They should have been able to do something. They should have done something. Instead, they are the only team who hasn't made a move. I mean, people are saying the Cavs. Yes, that's true. They didn't trade Karis LeVert, but they also made a gigantic move just a few months ago. So disappointing. And then you throw on the loss. At the end of the day, it was just like, what's going on? You could tell the players felt like the fan base. They're like, oh. All right, we're running back out there again. And then, of course, now we've got AK and Billy basically blaming the players, saying they got to have some more urgency at the start of the game. Who's the coach? Maybe he should get them fired up. I don't know. Bad stuff.
Bad trade deadline for the Bulls fans.
Yeah, you got a 33-year-old DeMar, 32-year-old Vooch, a guy in Lonzo Ball who we don't know when he's going to be playing ever again. And that's, besides Zach LaVine, that's a big part of your team. It's just... it's a bad situation overall.
Let's talk about the Blazers too here, as we're talking about some
They're in the mix,
depressing
man.
fan
If you're
bases.
wearing red and black, it's not good.
Yeah, Raps, Bulls, Blazers here. Okay, look, the Blazers made several trades yesterday.
I don't mind what they did.
They shipped out 2 players. They brought in 4 players. They added some draft capital. Out goes Josh Hart. Out goes Gary Payton II, who basically was injured all year. Out goes a future second-round pick. Okay. In comes Cam Reddish, Matisse Thybulle, Ryan, Archie Diacono, Kevin Knox, 5 second-rounders, and then a protected 23 Knicks first-rounder, which is going to turn into 4 second-rounders if not conveyed. And that would, if the Knicks do not make the playoffs. So we're probably looking at just a bunch of second-rounders is what I'm getting at here. I guess the Knicks could fall apart. But you think it's not that bad.
Oh, so it would be a first-round pick if things stayed as they are. Like, if they make the playoffs, they get a Portland gets a first-round pick.
Is it that way?
Yeah.
Or the other way around? It's a protected 23 Knicks first-rounder. Yeah, that makes sense.
If the Knicks make it, they get it.
Yeah. Good point. So, sorry, that's exactly right. So that is like late teens.
Yes.
Early 20s.
20th right now. Yeah.
Okay. I just think this team is really stuck in like basketball purgatory because it is a little difficult to figure out what their plan is. They're like accumulating picks sort of, maybe with the idea like they get enough of them that a big name that they can pair with Damian Lillard becomes available in the summer. I don't know who that would be, but in that case, then all this draft capital and probably a Simons or a Nurk is going out the door, right? They have to make a decision about Jeremy Grant. Like he didn't want that extension that they offered him. So are they retaining him? How much does that cost? And if they're not, what are they using their cap room on if he were to leave? Like, they would need a 3 or a 4. Who are going to be the big free agents at that spot this summer? Potentially Kuzma, I guess?
Nice.
Draymond Green, a possibility. Harrison Barnes, a possibility. I mean, it's
the Raps have
thin.
10 of them.
And I just so the track record right now for Joe Cronin, his recent track record, obviously since taking over as GM, it's not that good.
Yeah, the direction is a question. That's totally true.
It's not good. He traded McCollum and Nance for Hart, Satoransky, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. I mean, so really, in the end, it turns into nothing. There's some draft capital. Norm Powell, Robert Covington, traded for Bledsoe, your guy Justice Winslow, Keon Johnson. That's not looking great at this point, of course. They traded a 25 first-round pick for Jeremy Grant. That's okay. You'll see what type of deal they sign or do not sign this summer. They signed Gary Payton II for, 3 years, $26 million. He's already gone. They moved Josh Hart, like I said. So that's not great. It's nice that Damian Lillard wants to be there. He doesn't want to go anywhere. I want to do it here, but decisions need to start being made of how you're going to be a competitive team here. I don't see it. So that's why I've got them as a loser. Not again, look, you can talk yourself into Cam Reddish if you want. I'm not going to. Kevin Knox, no. Thybulle, totally fine player. Obviously has at least a skill in this league. Some limitations offensively, but that was not a great great.
No, they saved money.
Trade deadline.
Good. The guy.
That's what they did. They were trying to save money.
They were trying to save
yeah.
money. The guy they signed in Peyton, big deal. Josh Hart making $12 million this year, next year. They got cheaper versions of them in Matisse Thybulle and Cam Reddish, and they got a first-round pick. Their floor is definitely lower. You could say maybe they raised their ceiling because you know what Josh Hart and Gary Payton are. Take a flyer on Cam Reddish, and you get a first-round pick. Yeah, I'm not buying into Kevin Knox. We watched him at Summer League. He just, ever since the Knicks drafted him, he just wasn't it. So they're trimming around the edges. And it's not going to make their team better on the floor right now. But, yeah, you're taking a big chance with Cam Reddish, and your direction is directionless to some degree.
Yeah, and I'm fascinated to see what they do with Jeremy Grant here. And here's the other part. I don't know if you read that article on The Athletic from our guy Jason Quick. Mm-hmm. A lot in that about all these guys that ultimately left the Blazers couldn't wait to get out of there. Gary Payton II included. Like, they just, like, Norm, everybody sort of ecstatic to get out of Portland, which is like sort of shocked me a little bit, but I don't know what's that speaking to. Just the coaching, the front office. Could it be being Lillard's team and the dynamic of that? I don't know.
They need to check for vampires.
They need to check for vampires. You get some garlic in that locker room.
That's weird to hear. I mean, I guess Billups has a kind of grading style as a coach. He's calling out players all the time, which maybe that's a problem when your team is bad and not winning anything. But yeah, I mean, if players are trying to get away from Portland, how do you lure players in to Portland?
Yeah. All right, let's do one more round here. Tass, who you got for loser of the trade deadline?
Well, a quick one. John Collins. He's in the...
He's a winner.
Right. Didn't
Still in the news.
We should have put in an offer. Maybe get him here.
What would it take?
What would it take for Johnny?
What would the Hawks be interested in that we have that we could get John Collins to just join our show?
Good question. We got to throw in some second-round picks, of course.
Maybe that's why we've been building up Eshua, like a promising young JD. Putting him on the table.
Yeah.
Sorry, Eshua, we don't want to trade you. But
he's got some skills on the basketball floor, too.
Yeah,
maybe we could deal him for John Collins.
Yep.
John Collins has been in the trade rumor mill for... his whole career, it feels like. Every single season. So it feels like every year that it's the one. It wasn't the one this year. He's still with the Hawks. And he's a loser, I suppose, just because it's going to happen again next year. But also because...
next year it could happen this offseason. I already tweeted it. Okay, I officially started the rumor. John Collins is on the trade block.
Nice.
I'm getting ahead of it.
I believe it.
I didn't even schedule the tweet.
Did you retweeted something from 2014 or what? I mean, it's unfortunate for also not just because he wasn't traded, but because they traded for Sadiq Bey, who's a young player who can score, who can shoot the three, even though the percentages aren't great. I imagine he's going to take some minutes from John Collins if they're trading second rounders for him. So they got deeper at his position. And it's just it's a scenario where I think they want more three-point shooting from that position. So that's why I think Bey, who had a 50-point game last year, if you remember, he can shoot it, but he took some bad shots, and that's why Detroit was comfortable letting him go. There was always a weird thing going on with Detroit where he was upset that he went to the bench, much like John Collins, who's had a diminished role in Atlanta. It only gets more and more diminished, but he's still there. So
got him on the list.
That's unfortunate for Johnny, but we'll be in talk. We'll be in touch.
But it sounds like John Collins can blame Suns owner Matt Ishbia for this. By all accounts, that was going to be the move. John Collins was going to be going to the Phoenix Suns, and then Ishbia's like, hold on, Collins. Why don't you get Kevin Durant and get him in here? Right? That's what they were saying. That may have been close, that Suns-Hawks deal. I don't know what who would have been coming back in that sort of structure. I assume Jae Crowder.
Yeah,
one
sure.
Of the pieces,
why not?
Yeah. Who you got there, TK? Who else?
I know what the Pistons are doing. Trading for James Wiseman. They want the redraft. They see a talented young dude and think, I can fix him. But I don't really get why they're doing that. What are they doing? They got Marvin Bagley on the roster. Now they got Wiseman. They got Nerlens Noel. They've got Isaiah Stewart. And they've got Jalen Duren, who is the center of the future for this team. Somehow the Pistons are still paying Dwayne Dedmon and DeAndre Jordan. And they've been on multiple teams since. Doesn't make sense to me. I understand maybe that Wiseman could be worth a swing. but he's not really a pick and roll big man. I don't think we saw the Warriors try to force that with Steph Curry. He just doesn't have the speed or the hands or being able to get jump off the floor very quickly to be a real rim roller. Their number 1 draft pick, Cade Cunningham, he's a pick and roll ball handler, as is Ivy. They need to have the rim running big, who they already have. So they brought in Wiseman, but then they didn't trade Alec Burks or Bojan Bogdanovic.
Right.
They traded the 23-year-old, Sadiq Bey. I heard he had a 50-point game once. Yeah, maybe he chucks too much. Who cares? Your team is bad. It's okay if one bad shooter takes a bunch of shots. Just weird stuff from the Pistons all around. And, they didn't really give up a ton in doing this, but it's we're talking about having a plan. It doesn't feel like the Pistons have one. Except for they just want to, continue to honor Darko Milicic. If you are a big man who was drafted number 2 and you haven't lived up to expectations, come to Detroit.
Yeah, the Bagley trade last year, we all thought it's buy low, see what happens. And then they signed him to a 3-year deal where he's getting paid a lot and he's not playing.
He played really well when he
last year
came over.
Yeah, he's been injured this year. And then they went and got another one here in James Wiseman, who has not played well through his young career.
I think James Wiseman is going to play a lot better in the Pistons system than he did.
Yes, I think it's
Warriors.
Fine. I think it's fine. The question is if he's going to be happy with his role. Like Trey said, Jalen Duran's going to play. Now
Wiseman doesn't have much choice.
Well, he might not be good. If he doesn't play and isn't a happy camper, then may not be long for this league.
Right.
He's got a lot of talent. But they traded away Sadiq Bey because he wasn't all that happy with his role. James Wiseman, I just wonder if he's not going to be all that happy with his role. So TBD. It's a good flyer. Lots of flyers, but you can't just sign a guy like Bagley and just sign him and say and just hope he's going to be good because you pay him money. So I wonder if Wiseman is sort of in that same boat. Are they just going to pay another big just because, even if he doesn't perform over these next 20 games? I guess Bagley was fine last year. He put up numbers. But, they're lucky in that they don't have anywhere close to a max guy, so they can just pay a bunch of guys right now.
Yeah. I'm going to give the Nuggets a loser of the trade deadline. And not because they went and got Thomas Bryant, not because they lost Bones. I like Bryant as a backup to Joker. We talked about it on one of the podcasts yesterday. They saw a need. They tried to address it. That's fine. The real reason I think they are maybe a loser of the trade deadline is the rest of the West was much more aggressive than they were. And they might be leaning into the continuity. And look, we're the number 1 team in the West, and we like our team. Murray's balling out now. Michael Porter Jr. obviously is, he's streaky, but he can win you games. So maybe they're just in love with their team, and that's fine. But the Grizzlies, just to go through it again, they added a shooter. That was one thing they really needed. They got Luke Kennard. Clippers, they addressed a backup center, which was a huge weakness for them in the Plum Dog. They got Eric Gordon. They got Bones. The Lakers, okay, they look like much more of a team around LeBron James. There are pieces that you can play. The Wolves got Mike Conley Jr. They're hoping that's a better fit than D'Angelo Russell. The Mavericks got Kyrie Irving. And, of course, the Suns are now the favorites to a lot of people. You can push back on that, I think, if you're a Nuggets fan. Hold on. First off, those guys generally are not healthy a lot of the time, in KD, Chris Paul, and even Booker with an injury. And then they're probably shallow. But they got Kevin Durant, and that's a hell of a guy to overcome. So I think just with everything else going on in the West, a tiny, tiny little L to the Denver Nuggets, just with everything that went down. Agree or disagree?
I wish they had another guard.
Right.
But I guess they could, as we talked about, they could get him in the buyout market.
Oh,
they gave
buyout boy over here.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, they could.
Yeah, they can get a decent one just to be able to hold the basketball, give it to Jokic, and let him do his thing. Jokic's going to have to play a lot, but they're lucky that Thomas Bryant is a big improvement over DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, no, that's
and
nice.
So Jokic can sit for a little bit now and be comfortable doing that.
Winners and losers of the NBA trade deadline. Who do we miss? There's obviously a lot out there. Let us know. I'm sure you are right now in the stream team. Let us know in the comments. Tweet at us at NoDunksInc.
Somebody asked here, did Hasheem Thabeet go to Detroit at some point?
Did he?
Because we're talking about all the number 2 picks they're struggling with. Number 2, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Also feels like he did, but yeah.
Good question though, Ambo Gogo Lata.
Nice.
Good question.
Pick'em results last night. It was the Bulls Nets, and it was a straight up pick'em. And man, let's hold that L, TK. The Bulls can't even beat the Watanabe-led Nets. He was on fire. Joe Harris on fire. These guys were making it rain there. Yeah, they had a ton of threes. So I'm 2-5. You're 3-4. Tass, you took Brooklyn. 5-2. Hey, did Mikal Bridges? Does the streak still exist? Did you see the graphic? I know he didn't play in the
Tell me
game.
about
He
it,
was there,
Skates.
but it still said Iron Man. I don't know. We're gonna find out, I guess, when he does play. What's tonight's game, Tass?
Well, there's no way I can pick wrong with this beat going on. You guys enjoying this? Jitty, what do you think? Experimental song here.
Nah. This is low on the,
it's
this
a
is
little
low on the
too
list of
low.
all the other ones we've heard this
Yeah,
year.
it's low key.
Very low key.
What song did the first few beats made me? I had it then. It's like a current song. What song?
It's the one from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It sounds like that song, Sunflower. I think.
Sunflower.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sway Lee,
Hopefully we
maybe.
don't get dinged on the copyright because it's so similar.
This is a YouTube song. We're not going to get to
yeah.
That's
YouTube
the whole
song?
point of this.
Oh, wow.
I love it. I love it this song, actually.
I love this game. Big battle. Minnesota, Memphis, two teams that played in the playoffs last year. Memphis, a huge favorite
Yeah,
at home.
massively.
8.5 points. Because Minnesota doesn't have D'Angelo Russell? I'm a little confused. There's something else going on here. But Trey and I think
Is
they
Conley,
can
is
cover
Conley
that.
playing?
I'm not
I
sure.
have no idea.
I have no idea either.
Yeah.
But Trey and I think they can cover that 8-point spread.
Yeah, it's
just
big.
lose by 8. And you got the Wolves there to win by 9.
I've got Memphis.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's wrap up this drop with some rapid fire fun. Tass, you got the cues. Myself, Trey, and Jerome have the answers.
Former Minnesota guard Bryn Forbes pours Red Bull into his pre-game coffee.
I should have done that yesterday.
Bryn Forbes is Keats at the trade deadline.
Yeah, it's the old. That's like a red eye. Just ratchet it up. A Red Bull into a pre-game coffee.
Wow.
That is disgusting. It's almost unbelievable, but Dane Moore said it, so it must be true. What's something you do that others would find revolting, Skeets?
I don't know if you'll find it revolting, but my wife does, Nora does. I'll put a stir fry that she makes happily into a fajita wrap. And she's like,
What? That's nothing wrong with that.
that's what I say, Tass. That's what I'm like, why is it she thinks it's disgusting, like a Chinese stir fry into a wrap? And I'm like,
There's that
it's delicious.
It's just noodles instead of rice. That's not too. Yeah.
I got,
Some
I
might
got
say
no
you're a
problem.
visionary.
I believe that. Now, look.
Well, he's putting the noodles in a.
Well, first off, it doesn't necessarily have
Tortilla.
to be noodles.
That's
for
true,
Stir
that's true.
fry.
Yeah,
So
stir fry
but
could
I
be-
will.
yeah.
I will. I just like to use a fajita wrap for everything. Like I'll substitute it for a lot of things. Like, you know, I don't think it's crazy by any means, but like instead of toast, I'll use it like with eggs and stuff like that. Like I love.
Yeah, sure.
I love.
You love a good container.
Love a good container. I just love the thinness of it. I'll take it, throw it in the toaster for 15 seconds, get a little crisp to it. Yeah.
Well, there's that Chinese food dish that you put in, a thin tortilla type thing with the black sauce. What's that? I don't even know what it's called, but
She just
Yeah, it's like a
she just thinks
hoisin
it's
sauce.
really
Really
weird,
good
like
at
the
this guy.
flavors of ginger and stuff like that to then have in a wrap like that. But I don't. So
Wrap is like a blank slate.
Yeah.
thanks, guys. You
bread.
guys got my back. Let's call her up. Let's get her on the horn. I'd like to confront her.
maybe
Let the boy eat.
maybe she's making the stir fry. Obviously,
it ain't
it's
me
not
making
you.
it.
Maybe she just doesn't want it to change forms. Maybe she's just like, this is it. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, Trey.
I love cleaning toilets. Barehanded.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, why would you wear gloves? But it just...
Like you don't use a brush?
I don't. I mean, yeah, I use a brush for the swirly swirls, but on the rim,
Yeah.
I'm going wipe job. You know, like
Yeah.
with the toilet paper, with a bleach wipe.
Yeah.
Feels nice. Get it clean. Looks awesome. You
does
feel
look-
like you accomplished something, and guess what? It goes pretty quick. Right?
Yeah.
Like down on your hands and knees, getting dirty and grimy, sweaty, poops. You got poops and stinks everywhere. But it's all good, because you made a nice move and it's done in 3 minutes.
You know what you should try? Use a fajita wrap to clean that toilet.
I'm in.
I'm out on stir fry now. That's gone. Yeah.
All right, that sounds like it could be satisfying. I don't do it anymore. But once upon a time, I hear you. All right, Jerome.
I'm actually wondering what the court of public opinion is on this because it's been just all over the place over like human history. And it's been gone from Canada for so long, so I never hear it talked about. I love Arby's.
I love Arby's too.
Arby's. Can't say I love Arby's.
I grew up with it. My dad and I ate it together. When I travel out to Atlanta at Hartsfield, I'll pick up a beef and cheddar.
Wow.
But I have no idea because I know for a good long time Arby's was the butt of every fast food joke. Almost to the level that it was like a conspiracy, it seemed like. And Big Arby had to be taken down.
Yeah.
But I'm curious where we're at now because I know people would come out and defend it. And so, where do we stand on Arby's? I have no idea.
Look, no pun intended. I'm beefing with Arby's right now. Look, we had big beef for a long time. It was inspired by Arby's commercials. Not only did they never sponsor it, they sent out beef costumes to people all over the globe in these beef
Bunch
costumes.
of influencers.
Fine. We're not top of the list when it comes to beef. We should be, but we're not. The thing that pushed me over the edge, in their new commercials, there's a part where they go, "Ayo!"
Oh, Jesus.
They say "Ayo," and then they try and slide an aioli in there. I know you've seen Big Beef, Arby's.
Wow.
I can tell. I know you've seen the podcast. Cut the check.
Yeah. Cut the cheddar.
Oh, there it is. Beef and cheddar.
Yeah, but why milk the cow? Or what is it? Why buy the cow and you get the milk for free? We
Right.
gave him so much free advertising.
And you're never
We're
getting
doing
a
it right
Big
now.
Beef again. You're never going to see a rebound on this show again.
I realize this is also the third fast food chain I've brought up this week. At KFC, I wore my McDonald's jumper.
Man's got a Chick-fil-A cup just chilling right there.
Cheers. Sweet tea.
You're traveling, man.
I'm a free
It's allowed.
agent.
But you like Arby's.
I do, but the funny thing is, I will go there. My wife says, "Oh, that's disgusting. It's revolting." But every time I go, I get one of their deli sandwiches. So I don't buy their authentic stuff.
He comes in with his top hat and his monocle. Oh, Mr. Mellis is back.
Things are good in the Mellis house, I guess.
yeah. It's at least $7.50, combo included. But I like a beef and cheddar. But I'm with you. Some people find it
Revolting.
Yeah. And great fries.
Great curly fries.
Great
One of the best fries in the game.
See this? I'll be completely honest. I almost don't know if I've even ever had Arby's. Now that I think about it.
You never
once?
got it from the food court at Yorkdale back in the day?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Jerome knows the location of every Canadian
I
Arby's.
think I went a long time in my life. I went a long time in my life not really knowing what Arby's was selling.
That's a fair point, too.
Until we have the beef. I think that's why they made that. I think they were just people are like, what are they? What do they actually sell? What's their signature?
What are they cooking up over there?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you like it.
I've got one near my house that it's brand new. So even Danielle's disgusted when I go and I say, it is brand
Spotless.
spanking new. You love new things. Let's go to Arby's, dear.
I know a guy high up in the Arby's chain. Yeah.
You know Big Arby?
I know someone's a bit of a player in the Arby streets. Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't you tell them that we should be sponsored?
Completely.
I never thought about that. This is how little I think of Arby's.
Well, thanks, Jerome, for that answer. You've made something happen. All right. The Magic.
I got answers to these too. If you want.
Let's go. Yes.
Jeez.
Yes.
Might as well.
Extra rapid.
This is food related too, and I've said this before, but chicken wings, when I eat them, I have to devour the entire thing.
Yeah.
It's like
you don't eat the bone though.
Yeah.
I eat the cartilage.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the bones left over, it's like they've been bleached in the sun for 1,000 years. That's how clean they are. And I see people in bars, strangers from across the bar, just going, wincing. Like, this guy's going to town on these wings. So that's it.
I feel like every once in a
answer.
while you see a graphic on Twitter or Instagram. It's like, how do you eat your wings?
Yeah.
And it's got 1 through 9, varying degrees of sucking the meat off the bone. And you're going full 9. Ain't nothing
he took
left.
it to 11.
Yeah. I don't understand people just ning ning ning. They just take a little nibble and then they put it back. It's what a waste. What a waste.
Well, I can understand someone not wanting to chew on cartilage.
Yeah, that's me.
I can't help it. I just and I eat. I love it. The crunchiness.
What do you like with a corn cob?
Oh, interesting.
Because my
You eat the cob.
well, no, but you like, I don't know about you. Like when I eat corn on the cob, like
Yeah.
I'll eat it, but there are the kernels left over.
No.
You know, it's a bit sloppy.
It's completely
My
clean.
mom, it's like a pig ate that thing. It is every kernel is gone.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
You have to.
But
you have
so
to.
you're like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Hey, my people had a big potato famine back in the 1800s. I think it's in the DNA.
You really
Could be my
respect the
last
history.
meal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're on death row, your last meal is gonna be chicken wings and corn on the cob because you know you're gonna like.
That's right.
It's gonna take forever too.
Only the trays are left.
Still going. Still going. You're not killing me yet.
All right, next one here. The Magic's Mo Bamba was dealt to the Lakers Thursday, and just mere minutes after the deadline buzzer, he posted a photo of him in front of a U-Haul with the caption, "It's been real, y'all. Love." The guy was done. It looked like he had his bags packed for a while. When was the time you were ready to get the heck out of somewhere, Skeets?
I know we're talking a lot about food, but anytime I've ever eaten in a restaurant, I like to get the hell out of there.
You don't like to linger?
I'm not a lingerer. I'm really not.
Motioning for the check
let's
right
go.
after the last
I
fight.
mean, if they could
Okay.
time it so my last bite, the check is dropped, I'd be so happy. I just like I don't know what it is. Like again, Nora gets very upset with me. Like, what's the rush? There is no rush, but I don't want to sit here at this weird table in the middle of a room. I'm done.
We got no tortillas.
I like to me.
Anything in.
I'd much rather sit at a bar or something like that. I can be there for hours, but I don't know.
If you
a
serve
weird
Skeets
thing
at a
with me.
restaurant, make sure you give him his bill on a tortilla.
It'll keep me there for a little longer.
Yeah.
But that's my answer. I have a problem sitting still and just doing nothing.
That's true.
I do.
Not enjoying the company of the people you
I know. I mean, look, I will do it, and I will happily have fun. But yeah, I know it's an issue.
All right, Trey.
When we moved here from Toronto, we had to get new phones because
Right.
you know we were on Canadian plans. We went to United States plans. Get you a new phone. I got the iPhone 5C. Trash. Just a complete garbage phone. It felt like a toy.
That color.
Oh, that
the
one.
colorful ones.
Yeah, mine was
Felt
like a light
plasticky.
green. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It felt so plasticky.
Yeah.
You know, you're used to a high-tech iPhone. It just feels like a piece of space-age technology with like the cool hard glass on the front and the back. When you're looking at a bright green phone every day, you feel like a straight-up simpleton. I
you
could
had the
not
green
wait.
one, did you?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, man. They didn't have. I think the 6 came out at the same time, and it was going to be like a 2-month wait to get it in. I was like, well, I got to have a phone. Then I had to have it for 2 years, looking like a child. That's what the C stands for. They say
Child?
color, but it's like, no, this is a kid's phone. This is a child phone.
Great answer. Jerome.
It happens every year. It's day 4 of Summer League.
I wish I took that as my answer.
I was wondering if
4.
one of you would get to there. I mean,
Yeah.
like, there's always the Vegas of it. You can't stay in Vegas for that long.
No.
But something about the Summer League on top of it, just, you know, all the big draft picks have already played their games
Oh,
and, like,
yeah.
have had their mysterious injuries
Yeah,
to
yeah.
ride out the rest of the week. And you're stunned. Like,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
exhausted at that point. So that's when I'm ready
Day
to
4, you could have gone day 3.
I was being very generous.
It's
Yeah.
a 2 nights in Vegas and get out. Should be a
I'm
rule
very
for everyone.
post-pandemic. Like, I'm so happy to be here, but I'll get myself back to day 2, day 3
Yeah,
once a couple more get in.
Good answer.
And there's no Arby's in Vegas, I don't think.
I've probably checked.
JD,
Vegas.
you got an answer for this one?
Yeah. Anytime I'm at a show that my kids are in and they're done early, like the second half of a play, then they're only in the first act.
And you know you're
Torture.
not going to see them for the rest of it.
They're backstage. I have to wait anyways, but I would stay. We always stay. Like, you know, if they're in a band and they're the opening band, we always stay to the bitter end because there's a special place in hell for parents who leave when their kids are done.
Yeah.
Like, it's just rude. And I sat through, you know, because I've had them be at the end and then be in an empty room and they're playing.
Ugh.
And it's just like, I sat through your son's shitty performance, so you can sit through my son's shitty performance.
It's an unwritten rule.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. That's a good.
But you're saying it still sucks.
Oh, it's brutal. Absolutely brutal. A string quartet. A string quartet at age 10, 11? No.
Oh, those parents could be saying, "I saw those kids when they're amazing one day."
Yeah, maybe Yo-Yo Ma's, the next Yo-Yo Ma, but no, thank you.
You loved the blues festival you were just at.
Blues Festival was great. Those kids could actually play, so that was good.
You said it wasn't a lot of kids though either, too, right?
What do you mean?
I thought there was a bunch of well, of course you're in Memphis.
Groans.
There's some grown-ups, yeah, for sure. But the kids show, the showcase that I was at was all kids.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, last one here. Despite a whole lot of rumors, we talked about the Hawks. John Collins wasn't traded this week for like the 10th, 11th, 500th year in a row. He wasn't dealt. What's something you've been waiting on, but it just hasn't happened yet? Skeets.
Breaking a bone. Can't believe it.
Yeah.
I live my life pretty recklessly, and I have somehow never broke a bone.
That's good.
And I almost wonder if it's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's all the fajitas in me.
Didn't you break a toe once?
No.
No?
Well, I guess I could have. I didn't go and get it checked or get it splintered up or cast up. It's possible.
That doesn't
it's possible.
really count because
No, to me that doesn't count. I need a
nothing to
cast.
sign.
Yeah, I'm thinking arm, preferably arm, would be the one I would want to break over any sort of leg or.
Oh yeah, much better.
Yeah. And I'm just shocked, but knock on wood, knock on bone.
Not got
Knock on bone.
That's the morning.
But we're waiting on it.
good
It's
one.
going to happen. You know what's really going to happen? Unfortunately, that old Achilles is going to tear at some point.
You had a
Has to.
You had a hot.
Don't put that darkness on me.
I know.
Yeah.
Could happen this weekend. I got a race in Birmingham. Is there a Buc-ee's on the way to Birmingham? There is.
yeah, baby.
Yeah, I'm stopping.
Yeah, baby.
Woohoo!
Get you some brisket.
Yeah.
I'll
I'm
make
going to stop on the way before I go run a race. I'll be
some
running with briskets.
That'll make that Achilles strong.
They got breakfast burritos.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Take your own
You guys want
tortilla
it?
with you. put
Anybody
it in
want
there.
anything from Buc-ee's? You want
Yeah.
anything?
Yes.
You want a T-shirt or something? What do you want?
Anything. It's all good.
Okay. All right, I'll buy you something from
Anything.
Buc-ee's.
All right, Trey, something you've been waiting on, but it hasn't happened.
Well, the Arby's sponsorship, of course. But my answer coming in was an NBA awards vote.
Wow, that's
We've been doing this a long time.
That's fair.
Yep.
Ain't no more sickos than in this here
no one
room.
takes it more seriously.
Yes. We will take your voting seriously.
Yeah.
We will gladly put our names to those votes.
Good point.
And I will not lose a single second of sleep making the votes. It
That's-
would be an honor to me to choose the awards.
There you go.
At any point in time in the season. End of the season, even better. All-Star game? Sure. I'll do it. Whatever. I will look at the case for every single player who deserves to have their case looked at. And I know you guys will too.
Oh, jeez. I mean, even if
the
we get
votes.
a no dunks vote, I mean, the
Exactly
amount of
right.
we will put in hours.
We will make
if not
a
weeks
week
of content.
show.
Yeah.
We will do at least 6 hours, 5 times an hour and a half. We will do at least 7.5 hours worth of content just about voting.
I will break my first bone fighting you over who I believe should be an all-star selection
gets the
compared to
click?
you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, not even all-star voting. Like, that's... We should have gotten that by now.
Yeah,
like,
we should have. We should have a taste.
That counts for 25%.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, end of the year awards, okay. But come on, an all-star vote? Good one. All right, Jerome, something you've been waiting on.
This might be the last weekend I can say this. I'm looking for some new Rihanna music. I want proper new Rihanna music. I know she had a song on the Black Panther soundtrack, but that felt like a soft launch. So, we have a halftime show this weekend.
This
and-
weekend, the Super Bowl is
Super Bowl's
Sunday,
this
man.
weekend.
Yes.
Yes, football. And I'm hoping for more. I don't know that we're gonna necessarily get it, but that's always something. And then honorable mention Frank Ocean as well.
Okay. Yeah, we're not getting a new Rihanna song in the Super Bowl performance.
No, but
right?
maybe it's
But
the thing
maybe
where
right
getting her
after.
back in the
Little
mix,
promo
and
work.
now we have more
Possible.
like an album roll,
Yeah.
something like that. I don't
Okay.
think it's happening, but that's always something I'm waiting on.
Yeah,
What do you think
like a
she's-
relaunch.
Yeah.
Totally. What do you think she's going to start with?
The best odds are,
Please don't stop.
this is what I came for.
This is what you came for. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, according to Jimmy, Our friend Jimmy Shapiro. This is what I came for. Where have you been? Don't stop the music. Stay. Rude boy. Umbrella.
Ooh,
That would be
Umbrella.
That's a big
I
ballad.
can't see that as a starter.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I hope she plays Rude Boy.
Rude Boy would be great.
That is
Yeah.
my jam.
Pond
That's my
replay's
Rihanna
not even
jam.
on here.
Work would be great.
Yeah, it's on there.
Yeah.
Plus 2,500.
What are the odds on Don't Stop the Music?
Plus 500.
You know it's
third.
getting played.
That's a
It's
good
just
one.
do
Right.
they start with it is the issue.
Eminem showing up.
He was there last year.
I know.
He was there last
He was
year.
there last. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's happening.
Yeah.
Oh, right, you
Who
love
will
the way you
accompany?
lie. Yeah.
Jay? Is that too much to ask?
That'd be a
Hold
big,
on.
yeah.
Did anybody
Run this town.
did
That could
anybody
be like
come
an
out with
opener.
Beyonce when she did it? Or was it just a Beyonce solo
Yeah,
Super Bowl
Great
performance?
question.
I think that was Destiny's Child. Didn't they come out?
Oh, man, they
Yes,
all...
they did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, and then she had
But
the
I
other
think it's
one
mostly
with
her. Mostly Beyonce.
I was going to say,
looks
I
like.
remember it being
Yeah.
generally her. Put me down for nobody.
Okay.
Rihanna.
I say Eminem shows up.
Well, what about when The Weeknd
Ooh,
did it?
wow. No, it was just him, I think.
That was just it.
Ah, okay. Rihanna, nobody.
I like.
She's got the bangers.
I like Work as an option too, as the first
Yeah.
song.
Okay.
I'll get people going. You can also bet on Rihanna's dress/shirt primary color. What a
Black.
Black is definitely the odds-on favorite.
Right.
Yep.
What about her eyeshadow color? You can freaking bet on that.
Wow.
Interesting.
You can
She
bet
should
on her
just wear
hair
a
color.
LeBron jersey.
Silver eyeshadow.
Yeah.
Okay, good guess.
I think it matches the trophy.
Hair color? Black, blonde, red, pink, purple, or blue.
I mean, wow. could
Don't
be.
bet orange.
Don't bet orange. I'm in on blonde.
Can you bet on whether her hair will match the Gatorade that gets
Wow.
dumped?
That's a
Yeah.
parlay.
Probably somewhere.
Parlay, yeah.
That's great. So then you can bet on the last song on stage and lots of songs which weren't included in the first song on stage. Pond to Replay, Man Down.
It's usually a ballad, isn't it? Like, don't they always slow it down for a ballad?
At some point.
Yeah, at some point I thought it was in the middle.
Gotta give her
Right,
a
right,
little
right.
break.
Last
little
year,
break.
Mary J. Blige was your palate cleanser in the middle, and then they
Sure.
amped it right back up with, I guess 50 Cent was before that.
Can't wait. JD, you got an answer to this one?
Yeah,
dude.
my complimentary bottle of Sherlin's champagne. Still waiting.
That's a classic.
That'll never not be
cut.
funny to me.
Went back to our hotel rooms in New Orleans at an All-Star weekend.
Yeah. And you guys all got bottles of champagne.
You're right.
Matt and I, nothing. Mm-hmm. But we ran into the guy who was promoting it, the Isaiah's right-hand person. Todd, I believe his name was.
Oh.
He was outraged
Couldn't
that we
believe
didn't. You didn't get it? You're getting your bottle. You're getting a bottle. Like, all right, great.
That's the only reaction you can have when it's like, what?
Yes, exactly. But still wait.
Still wait.
How has it been? 10 years? Not 10 years. About 7 years.
It's in the mail.
Come on, Todd.
Tweet at them.
I should.
You really should.
Yeah.
I bet you get it.
I did. I haven't gotten it now, but
Is the person high up at Arby's also a Todd?
No, it's not. That's not. All right, that's rapid fire. So rapid, isn't it? That's the Drop Podcast. That was a lot of fun talking about the NBA trade deadline winners and losers. Thanks again to everybody that checked out our podcast and YouTube show over the last couple days with all those emergency podcasts and going throughout the day yesterday. That was a blast. We should be back on Monday here in the Classic Factory with NBA weekend winners and losers. So if you see a good one, tweet it in at NoDunksInc and send in your emails and all of your questions too. I might hit the beach at some point next week. Not only is it the Super Bowl this weekend, but it's All-Star Weekend the next weekend. And we are flying to Salt Lake City. That doesn't feel right either. So there'll be a lot going on here over the next week. Go get those brand new jerseys if they're even still available. Go to nodunks.com if you would like to get one of these sexy No Dunks Jazz jerseys there. High quality, these bad boys. So grab one if you want. And,
When are you racing?
I'm racing on Sunday morning. I'm racing on the Super Bowl, which is really weird. Super Bowl day
Yeah.
doesn't start till what? What time's the game start?
6:30?
6:30? When's
Classic
kickoff?
6:30 ET.
Yeah, it's just a part of training. So instead of just doing 13 miles in Atlanta, Jared and I are just going to go to Birmingham, run half a marathon.
There we go.
Yeah, it's right down the street. Right down 20, right?
Just take 20. Don't
Just
need
take
to turn
20.
ever.
Or you
Never
honestly
turn.
don't.
Go.
You don't.
Yeah. But we'll hit the Buckies.
You better.
Can't wait.
Calhoun, Jordan.
All right, if you see me at Bucky's, say hi. Otherwise, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Oh, thanks for joining us. And remember, did this at a trivia, had this question at a trivia night once. The number one broken bone? I was surprised by it. In the human body? Any guesses out there? The number one broken
nose?
bone? It's most oftenly broken bone. No.
Wrist.
No.
Leg.
Higher.
Collarbone.
The
Collarbone. Wow, you don't want to
Kids
break a
break 'em a
collarbone.
lot.
Yeah. Ooh, everybody stay safe this weekend. Don't break a bone. Embrace the weekend.